Good day, and thank you for tuning in to Echoes of the Caribbean on Extravaganzas. I'm your host, Joshua Peter, and today we'll look into the rather overlooked people in the Caribbean issue of indentured servitude. It is well known that in the 19th century, after the abolition of slavery in 1823, the Caribbean plantation suffered a serious labor shortage. This caused the Europeans to employ indentured servants from various countries today. We'll be examining the life of some of these very people in the Maltese and the Maderians, before, during, and after the history of indentured servitude in the Caribbean. The Maltese people of the 19th and early 20th century were inhabitants of the Maltese island of Malta, Buzo, and Comino, an archipelago in the Mediterranean Sea. They were the Maltese people suffered from poverty, unemployment, and overpopulation due to the lack of arable land and policy of the British. This caused them to have a mass exodus in the US, Canada, and of course the Caribbean. The Maderians, on the other hand, is a Portuguese archipelago that had shifted from a leading sugar producer to facing famine and economic ruin by the 1840s. Their condition prompted mass immigration, with many seeking better opportunities in the Caribbean due to the promises of high wages and possibly land after the contacts were over. Now that you have sufficient backstory, I think it's time we learn more about here. Our recruitment from our expert Maurice.
The Maltese people faced limited success in the Caribbean, though they had tight-knit communities that transferred easily into various forms of employment or even small-scale animal husbandries. After their contract expired, they still suffered from harsh conditions of the colonies, such as artistic isolation and a lack of capital to form a more significant holding or numbers to create a large influential community like other migrant groups. In contrast, the Maderians experienced relatively greater success. Their agrarian history and experience, along with their familiarity to Christianity, allowed them more options for growth after their contract ended, which also allowed them numerous acquired land as small-scale growers or business possessors. Their integration into unqualified communities in the Caribbean also eased social acceptance and support.
Thank you, Maurice. I'm currently in Guyana, formerly known as British Guyana, one of the places where both the Maltese and Maderians worked and settled. The Maltese, who migrated to the Caribbean, primarily worked as indentured sloggers on sugar colonies. Their working conditions were frequently harsh, with long hours and strict oversight. The adaptation to the Caribbean terrain was challenging due to tropical climate, artistic differences, and the demanding nature of colony work. Despite these rigors, some Maltese managed to establish small communities and integrate into the original society to some extent. Maderians were also brought to the Caribbean as indentured sloggers, primarily to work on sugar colonies. While their work was challenging, Maderians were frequently regarded as active workers. Maderians acclimated fairly well to the Caribbean terrain due to doing similar work on Malta. Numerous also rehearsed Catholicism, which helped them integrate into the original religious geography, especially in regions like Trinidad.
In the late 19th and early 20th century, both Portuguese from Madeira and Maltese migrants significantly shaped the Caribbean, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago and British Guyana. Maderian Portuguese initially worked on plantations before moving into commerce. With St. Vincent and Trinidad becoming key destinations, they quickly integrated, contributing to the local economy and cultural landscape. Similarly, Maltese migrants sought better opportunities, establishing small businesses and known for their strong work ethic. Both communities maintained their cultural traditions, broadening the region's diversity and blending into the Caribbean identity.
That is extravagant news.